Hi everybody, this is Sean Moore from ACSI, and what we're trying to do is just give you little insights and snippets into leadership. And I have with me a leadership and strategy expert, Dr. Mark Manley. Mark is a great friend. He's been working with significant people around the world, especially in South Africa, and especially over these difficult times of lockdown and significant change and challenge. And Mark is an author, and he spends much of his time coaching and mentoring people and helping them in their leadership, helping them in their person, and helping them and their organizations with strategy. And today he's going to talk a little bit about the person, the leader themselves, and just being able to manage themselves in these difficult leadership times. So again, Mark, nice to have you with us. Bless you and thank you.
Hey, Sean, great to be back with you again. And hopefully these are being instructive, informative to the people that you're working with. So a lot of the people that I'm working with, a lot of the leaders, because I'm in touch with them through various media mechanisms, are taking a lot of strain. They're saying, it feels like I'm out of control. Yeah, I'm meant to be running a company or running the government or whatever it is, or this part of government, and things are just beyond us. And I'm sitting back and it's like twiddling my thumbs, and we're in a crisis, and it feels like I can't do stuff. And so the emotional anxiety that is attached to this kind of environment is sometimes overwhelming. And then they've got to go out, or they just get depressed, temporary kind of depression, go and sleep and eat far too many carbohydrates and chocolates and those kinds of evil things. So what is it that we do to guard our minds so that in a situation like this, we can still be effective and consequential in the work that we have to do? Because there is still work that we have to do. We can't just check out and let the world continue. If you are called to be a leader, the leaders essentially have to be bringing about the change that is necessary for the world to improve. That's your role. And so leadership is always about change. Leadership is always about managing the people and leading the people into a place that is better. And if you're not able to do that, the frustrations must be great. So if you are called as a leader, you need to be working out and saying, what is it that I have to do? So one of the things that people struggle with is overreach. So we are all concerned about our environment. We're concerned about our people. We're concerned about our school. We're concerned about our constituency, whatever it is. And so when we are consumed with a concern for these kinds of things, and then it's sort of like our influence in that area is taken away because we don't see them anymore. The school is locked up, or the offices are locked up. I'm not seeing my staff. I don't even know who they are, whatever it is. And so we go through great anxiety and sometimes even psychological pain in not having the same system working like it used to, where we were comfortable and we had a literacy on how to do leadership in that kind of environment. And so I subscribe to a couple of things, circle of control, circle of influence, and circle of concern. So we have concern, but we also have influence. And so where these two areas meet, that's where we need to act for the greatest impact and effect. Because if I am concerned about things outside of my control, I can devote myself to it. And all that's going to happen is I'm going to burn myself out, and that is irresponsible. If I have a sphere of influence where I can make changes and I choose to ignore them, by the contrast to that, instead of just burning myself out, I'm actually just lazy, or I've chosen not to work in that area for whatever reasons. I've given up maybe, and that is also just irresponsible. So where the two things meet, I have a circle of influence, I have a circle of concern. Where those meet, that's where I need to be acting in that intersection between my concerns and my great devotion and my ability to bring about change. So what is the greatest area where we can bring about change? And that is within ourselves. First of all, we have to introspect. And as Paul indicates, he instructs, be sober, be rational, consider yourself wisely, don't overreach, don't become a narcissist, and don't become a lazy sloth either. So you assess yourself. Critical self-evaluation is the beginning of all learning for adults. And so as we develop through our lives, it is always a process of critical self-evaluation. How did I do in that? When I spoke at the assembly, did I speak well? Did I edify? Did I build people up? When I'm dealing with a staff member, be it a disciplinary hearing, or be it an issue of correction, or be it an issue of praise for that person to encourage them into something greater in the future, did I do it well? Or how can I do it better next time? And so that critical self-evaluation certainly helps us to improve right through life. So the critical self-evaluation starts with saying, okay, so who am I and what am I able to change? I'm able to change my thoughts. I'm able to change my actions. Those two big key areas. From that, then it moves into the second thing, where it's the circle of influence. My thoughts and my actions and my abilities and my talents and my skills that I put into the world is going to change the minds and the interactions that I have with other people, causing them to react or respond to the idea or the cause or the strategy or to myself. If I'm creating the negativity, then that knock-on effect is going to be pretty disastrous with the people that I influence. And if you're influencing the pupils in your school, the staff in your school, the officials that are around, the parents, your sphere of influence starts with you and your control of your own mind and what you can and you can't do and what you should be doing. Then comes the area where we might just be concerned. What's happening in the world around us right now? That is the most telling thing, where people are taking it straight. Because it was fine when life was just trucking along and we knew the system and there were certain things that we could get upset about. Now, there's so much that is now coming into our lives that is upsetting us and we've got no control of it. So what do? You just got to let it go. You got to release this thing and say, I cannot change this thing. I can't change my internet speed, maybe. I can't change the size of my property. I can't change the big legislation in terms of the lockdown. I can't change the virus and so on. So despite the Bible saying I can do all things through Christ, there are certain things that you can't do. So you've got to soberly, in a considered way, understand what has God called you to do that you can change. And those all things in Christ that you are supposed to be able to do, it's all things within your ability. So to see it within the context, it's within your ability and influence. So at some stage, we need to talk about how to increase your influence, because some people can change legislation. Some people can change what's happening in your neighborhood. And you certainly can change what's happening in your family and in your sphere of influence, in your school, in your staff, and in the minds of your pupils. You can change the outcomes by being innovative, by finding solutions within a context that is actually seemingly to be working against us. And so that's what we've got to do, is understand ourselves, put our energies and our efforts into the right place, so you don't end up burning yourself up by trying to change things that you can't change, or neglecting the things that you can change, and you're just backing off of that because you're depressed or you don't think it's important.
Thank you, Mark. Certainly one of the things I took out of that was, the need for introspection, for as leaders just to take a moment as often as possible and just think about, how am I doing, how am I coping, what are those thoughts, and especially the thought of, not being so focused on the things that you can't change. So bless you again. We appreciate you being involved in this project. Thanks, Mark. God bless.